Hi, I'm Sean and welcome back to the layout and welcome to the June 2025 update. Now, you may notice I've got this foam board in front of us at the moment, and the reason for this is because I would recommend before watching this video, I would watch the Goodyard before video before watching this one, because there is quite a lot of change. So watch that one first, then watch this one. Right, so without further ado, I'm going to take this foam board away. 3, 2, 1. As you see, there's a big change to what this board was before. All the yard track work is now in. Made another bridge for a road that will be eventually going under here. I've used the same technique for this bridge as I did with the retaining walls, so they all match. And the thing I did do differently is all this bit, what I've done, I just put like a layer of multi-purpose filler just around the edge, but I laid it not thick, but quite thick, and I sanded it down with some wet and dry sandpaper like this one. It's almost smooth sandpaper. It's quite weird, but I used this sandpaper just to smooth it down. And then what I've done after that, I used a Dremel with a cutting disc, and I just cut slits into the bit that I've sanded to almost make separate stones. Now, it went a bit wrong along this bit, but I have got a plan. What I might do is do some sort of scaffolding around this bit with a couple of workmen, just sort of like repairing the stone here, which will give it a bit of a story. So it's sort of a inadvertent sort of story really. But as we move along, it's still not particularly a lot going on with this bridge yet. I'm still working all this out. But what I was thinking is I've cut some bits of dowel and I've just placed them in there. And what I was thinking was like just smaller arches like that, sort of similar to maybe the approach to Waterloo, where you got like small arches. But I think there's a section of the main line to Bournemouth. I think it's before Bournemouth, where there's like a bridge where it just goes like that, and it just has like a bit that rises up to about that sort of height, like a gridiron type thing. So maybe possibly that, because the problem I've got, I've been looking about for bridges that could possibly span the gap, and I've been looking at like laser cut kits and stuff like that, because I do like laser cut kits. So it would be nice to possibly have a laser cut kit one. But then my first problem is the distance from there to there. I think it's just over 30 centimeters, I think, and most of the bridges I've found has been about 25. And the other problem is that it's at a diagonal. So you see, like on this side it starts there, and that side it starts there. So it's at a diagonal. And same here, it starts there. and there, so it's at a diagonal. So whatever, if I've got a kit, whatever I've got, I'd have to modify it so it goes the same way. So right, that's the bridge. I'll go over to this bit. I might have put this in a previous video, but this is all the embankment all finished. On the water tower has still got to materialise, you know, but it will materialise eventually. And still deciding on the signal box. I probably will just stick with the Pico one as I've got it. I might as well just build that one, you know, and see how that looks for the time being. But all the track has been ballasted. Now there was something I saw on another YouTuber's channel, and it was a really good channel, really good video. There's a guy doing a really great model of Perth Station in Scotland. Now, he did something that I didn't think of before, and it's this by the points. Now, what he done was he just painted sort of like black around where the tie bar is. And the reason why I done that is because there'll be a build up of grease around the tie bar area in real life. Now I never thought about doing this, but then I saw him when I saw him doing it on his layout. It looked pretty good, so I thought try it on mine, and yeah, it does look really good. So I don't know if I'll try and find the channel and put a link in the description as well, worth watching. But if he's watching, it's a good idea. I like it. I've got all this bit all ballasted, painted, some static grass in the middles. I might have gone a little bit overboard with the static grass, but I do really like the static grass. Makes a nice effect. Feels weird. It feels like Velcro. The reverse bit of Velcro, if it makes any sense. That's what it feels like. But yeah, that's all the yard track is done. I've now got this engine shed all done. So I've just got to put some lights in this, and then we go on to the cattle dock. I made the cattle dock really overgrown, just around the corners. Still working on where I make some hay bales to go in there. Excuse me. So that's all the yard bit done. Now the plan is the train goes in there, down this track, and then onto this track, and this track will be part of the turnaround loop. So train will sit in here, then go off to the other board, and then it'll come around back on this track. Then it will go into the goods shed briefly, and then it will come back, rejoin the train in that way. It'd be the same with goods trains as well, but the difference be the goods train sitting there, and then there'll be a shunter just basically shunting the wagons to the various sidings. Now obviously we've got the goods diversion track as well. So I'm going to try and make this as like bi-directional, so trains go that way and trains go that way, but mostly trains to be coming from that way and then on. So freight trains to be coming from that way and then onto the main line. Right, now we're going to go on to the other biggest change, and this is the hard standing. Now I made this hard standing using multi-purpose filler, and I just skimmed on a layer at a time. So skim a layer, wait for it to dry, then skim another layer on, wait for that to dry, so on and so forth. And then once you got the height that you want, and then went over with some wet and dry sandpaper again, just to smooth it all out. And before painting, I made sure, because a lot of the track, well, all the track of this siding is embedded in the hard stand. So before I done any painting, I made sure trains would run on this, and I made sure that, you know, when I need to clean the track, I could clean the track without taking any of the paint off. So basically, the way I'd clean this track is I'd get track rubber, but the thinner one, I think it's Pico one, I think. But instead of going like that, I'll just go one side, and then I'll gently go along the rail individually. So I can try not to scrape off the paint off of the hard stand. Now the other thing I'll do, and this is to aid the running. Now if you catch it on camera, but I've made groove on the inside, so it's sort of like from the middle down towards the rail, so there's a groove there, and it's the same on this side, groove downwards towards the side of the rail. But then on this side as well, I've also done the same thing. So basically there's a gap on both sides of the rail. Now the reason why I do this is, well, the reason why I do this, I'm not sure about everyone else, but this side may be lower, like, you know, the middle bit may be low enough for the train to go over. However, this side could protrude slightly, which will be enough to stop contact between the wheels and the track. So therefore the train will just come to a halt. Now, the trains that are going to be going on this bit, I'm going to fit them with stay alives anyway, you know, because it does work on, you know, like I've put my A4 on here, and it does work on analog, but eventually everything will be DCC on the HM7000 chip. But I'll have a stay alive in it as well, so if the train, or, you know, the shunter that I'm using, you know, gets stuck, the stay alive will kick in and then just keep it going. But that's the plan. And basically the hard standing track goes all the way along behind the goods shed, and then it stops to about there. I've just got to do the buffer stops for there and there. This buffer stop was off of the coal mine board, but I'm just placing it there for now. So yeah, I just got to do the buffer stops for both of them sides. Now the other thing I did when I've done the hard standing is I did have a bit of card stuck along here, so it gives me a nice smooth edge on the edge of the board, or at least I tried going for that effect, but some bits did go a bit wrong, so might need to TLC them bits. Right, so yeah, that's the changes to this board, and I hope you agree there's quite a big change. I'm definitely proud of it. I think it's really come along now. Before we move on to the rest of the bits, there's some bits on the other boards I want to talk about. I was talking about these power connectors earlier, and they really do work. They really do work a treat. They work really well. Now, all of this board, I've got all my droppers, all my positive droppers, all in this one. I've got all my negative droppers in this one, and they all go underneath the baseboard. Now, I was going to run track underneath this, but as you can see, it's going to be a bit difficult. But it's handy for keeping the wires underneath, and it's always just tuck my controller underneath there. So I think it'll be all right. But all these points that I got on the board, when I put these points in, I put them in so all the holes were drilled for the point motors. So I haven't got the point motors yet, but I've pre-drilled the holes. So basically, when I do get the point motors, it is just literally a matter of just soldering the wires on, screwing them to the point motor. Well, screwing the point motor to the baseboard and the point, and that'll be it. All the holes are already there, all ready to go. Right, so we're going to talk about the other bits of the layout now. Now, the next bits I'm going to be working on will be all this bit with the incline. Now, all this bit will be the same as this, double skim, so the baseboard will be that height, knocking everything over. All the baseboard will be that height all the way along, so all this will be double skim just to bring the baseboard up. Now, I have got on order, and they should be coming on Thursday. I've got Woodland Scenic risers, but I've got the 3% and not the 2%. And I've also got some DCC power base as well. Now, the reason why I'm using the 3% is because I never used them before, and I think the 2%, for what I want, I think the 2% it'd be too long, if it makes any sense. I need this track to be at this level in this one curve, because ideally I want the main line to have a little bit of a station that shares with the bay platform for the smaller engines like the Terrier, because on my wish list I've got the Terrier and the 4-wheel coaches. They'll go in the bay platform, which will be about here. It's also where I'm gonna have the engine shed, or I'm thinking about having the engine shed sort of around there. But as I say, I need this track to go to that level in the quickest but doable way possible. So I'm thinking the 3% grade would be enough to bring the track down. And as the model railway guy, he used 3% grade with the power base, and his trains work fine. So, you know, I'm slightly worried, but I'm not too worried, if it makes any sense. But should be okay. Right, now we're going to go to this side. Now this is where it's a bit of a mess. If you remember, I had all the hills and stuff like that. That's all had to change because of this track and this being higher. You know, the river couldn't be there anymore. And plus I had a better idea. I had a better plan. The pieces of landscape that came off, I still have them. So, you know, if there's a model railway club who's local to me who would like to make use of them, then, you know, feel free, they're all yours. You know, and otherwise I'll be going to the tip, and it'll be a shame to put them in the tip. But basically the plan is, when all this is gone, these two tracks will go round underneath this baseboard. I'll cut a slot in there to go underneath. This retaining wall and this embankment will follow round, and I want to try and make like a bit of a arch bridge with a road, because this track is going to follow round as well, with a crossing and then the road bridge, and then linking up to here. Now that's that bit. Over this bit, again, there's going to be a lot of change. All this mountain bit, that's going to be going, but I am going to, for example, like this bit, I'm going to try and cut it in such a way that I can basically reuse it somewhere else. But all that's being cut away. I've got 2 tracks under there already, and basically what I'm going to do is, all this is going to be taken up, and I'm going to pull them tracks forward and have these 2 tracks meet up with them tracks, and I'm going to try and build another station there. But also, all this coal mine area, it's going to link up to them 2 tracks rather than the setup that I've got here. Because the setup I've got here, the A4 keeps on derailing on this bit. If it isn't derailing on this bit, it's derailing on that bit. So I don't really want to carry on with that, knowing that there's a good possibility that trains are just going to derail. You know, I want to have this layout to be able to just run around and not have any problems. But basically, all this will be going. This will be going. So I'll work out what I'm doing there. Again, the back there, you know, that's going to be changing. Now, my partner made me promise not to get rid of this bit, not to change this bit. And to be honest, I do like this bit. You know, and this was the first bit I've done the layout, so it'd be a shame to dismantle any of this. So I'm not going to dismantle this bit. But However, what I am going to do is that this track ain't going to be there anymore. So basically what I am going to do is modify this bit so the track goes like that, straight on, and then it re-links up with the tracks that's going to be going there for the station. So it'll still be a balloon loop, but it will tunnel through there, linking on there, and it'll come out of a double tunnel, maybe a double tunnel about there into the station. That'll be around there. But that is the plan, so far. But for now, because this side is pretty much done, apart from the points, apart from the point motors needing to be put in, this area is pretty much done. So this bit is what I want to focus on next. Especially that I've got the risers coming in. I just want to get that incline built. I just want to get that incline built, tested, trains running on it, so that I know it works. Because, like I said, I've never done it before, and that's the only thing that's making me nervous about this bit at the moment is that incline. If that incline doesn't work and the trains don't go up it, then I'm going to be running into some problems. So I just want to make sure that all the incline works, it's all tested, and then we're good to go. So that'll be the next project for the next month or so, and it'll probably be in the next update. So that's about it for this update for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll try and do some videos in between time. Especially about this. I could probably do a little bit of a tutorial video about how I've done this. Because it is a bit tricky, to do all this bit, and if you haven't done stuff like this before, it could be really daunting. So I might do a tutorial video on just how I embed the track in a hard stand. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you for watching. Again, if you like the video, leave a like. If you could subscribe if you haven't already, it'll help the channel. So till next time, you all take care. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.